It's all up to Derek. Okay, you're on.
Good evening and welcome to this evening's meeting of the Fairmont School Board. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, minutes. You have copies of the minutes from last meeting.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we have a new agenda, the green agenda.
And we're striking policy committee.
And we're going to strike policy committee. We did not meet on the 9th.
I was not at the CER one on the 12th either.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with those two meetings omitted.
Second.
Okay. We have a second?
Mm-hmm.
And a second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, celebrations and school. Derek Spear will present.
If you don't mind, I'm going to stand over here just because I have a little bit of this. Thanks, guys, for having me tonight. I'm actually super excited to be talking about a little bit of what I'm going to talk to you about. I also wanted to just thank you, guys who were involved in making the decision to give us an enrichment grant. You gave us an $8,000 grant. I know that I talked to Joe and Nicole quite a bit about it, and we got a lot of stuff, and that's what a lot of this is going to be about tonight. So first of all, we got some banners, and hopefully this is still on because it does shut off if you don't use it for a while. Hey. Okay, so the first thing we want to talk about is we got a scooter pack, and we're really working hard to get our kids doing more small-sided games, which are games that get everybody involved at all times. And we're trying to pull away from the rules a little bit, at least wise at the elementary, and we're trying to get them so that they're active all the time. This is the scooters that we got, and we have banners, and you have, I believe, a little packet that was given to you, and that there's a muscles banner on there. And coming up, one of the things that we've been trying to do is include some health in our classes. I haven't got all the curriculum yet. I don't know why it's taking so long, but they have not got me all, even though it was ordered in September. But what we have done is we're doing some exercises, and you'll see them shortly. So those are the scooters, and there's a basketball, there's a frisbee golf game where the actual goals and targets are all moving while the kids are going. Yeah, they love it. I mean, they move. I don't know if you can hear them, but what they're doing is they're saying their muscles of the things instead of counting. Every time you go into PE, you see them counting out all their stuff. I decided to change it. And when they do their exercises now, they say the muscle group that they're exercising or that they're stretching. And it is absolutely amazing. These kids know. If you go in and ask them when they're doing that, all of them know it, and it's crazy. But really excited about that. Also, super excited. We got heart rate monitors. And of course, it's new technology, so a lot of bugs to work out. We have it up on the screen. On your back page, I believe there's a, you can kind of see it. You'll see a better picture of it here. That's what happens when you take a picture of a projector shot and try and get it. But what it does is every student in live time has their names and their target heart or their heart rate up there, and it's also correlated to color. And I think you'll see actually color pretty quick. Here's some more small-sided games. Essentially, I wanted to show you a lot of them. This is a game called mass hockey where they're all moving the whole time because there's 6 goals and there's about 12 pucks out there. Okay, here's. So the heart rate monitors are with this upper left-hand corner. They are correlated with that so that their color on the heart rate monitor up where they see it will be red if they're in that zone. It'll be yellow if they're in that zone. And so their target should be somewhere between purple and red depending on what activity we want them doing. And believe it or not, at some point in time, I would actually like to move our grading so that if their heart rate is in that area for a certain amount of time, then we can, that's what's going to determine their grade rather than what we grade on now. So that's kind of a pipe dream so far, but anyhow, so we have that. That's a banner that we got on there. The banner on the lower right, we just did today, and I'll talk a little bit more about what a walk and talk is, but in my classroom, we did a walk and talk today, and all I did is say, okay, with the older kids, I said, you need to pick 3 things off the banner, talk about them. When we come back in, we'll have a quick talk, and then we'll get out and get going. And they really super enjoyed that. Kids, when they come back, it's absolutely fascinating what they will do if they're doing it on their own time and their own. So they just walk around and talk about them. We sit down, we have a quick thing where I actually try and pick kids who I maybe think aren't talking about it, and they usually all know, so it's a pretty cool deal. The muscle banner is also something that we got from you. Let's move on with this. Okay, so this on the left, that's an actual picture of the heart rate monitor. And for some reason, the day that I took a picture, the projector was broken. It was only projecting half of it. So we've got a picture of that, and it shows their heart rate, actual heart rate. It has their name, and it has the color that they're at so that they can just, at a glance from a long ways away, they know where they're at, they know where they need to be. Their heart rate monitor also has a little light on it that lights up the color that they're supposed to, or the color that they're at right at the time. So it's a really kind of a cool deal. I'm super excited about those heart rate monitors, and I think that our school needs to kind of head that direction. I think that's the most important part about PE is their fitness and their health levels. So, and just a little thing on this. I know I gave you guys all the book kind of right after Christmas. We're just super excited about this book. I mean, I start reading it, and when I get into it, it's one of those books that I'm highlighting everything. So some things that, you know, I wanted to point out, and what I think maybe our school PE programs need to move towards is, you know, if you look at the Naperville in there, I don't know how many of you have read in it, but there's a Naperville there, and they are a school district of 9,000. They had their whole 8th grade, or I think it was 99% of their 8th grade, took the TIMSS test, which is an international science and math test. And the United States usually places somewhere between 18 and 26. And they have added PE every day, and they have morning programs, and it's just incredible how the community has come around them. They've donated bikes, so they have stationary bicycles, they have treadmills, they have a huge climbing wall, they do kayaking in their pool, and it's just an incredible system now. It's not even like anything ever that we have seen in this area. And now their 8th graders took this test against all the other countries, and they got 1st in science, and they got 8th or 6th in math. So it's an incredible raiser of scores, and they're telling you that a lot of that has to do with that. And that's a very high paid area. So they went to another school, Titusville, Pennsylvania. They did another study there, and they didn't go quite as high, but the results were very similar. So pretty cool deal. And so I'm just, in doing all this, and I just get really excited. So for those of you who don't know, I have done a morning class for about 20 to 25 fifth graders for the past 2 years. And really incredible results. I mean, their fitness results, they're all in the healthy fitness zone because they're meeting every day before school. Their math results, Jody Christensen, I don't actually have a copy of that, but Jody Christensen told me that their math results are way better than all the other students, because we also have a control group, which is the rest of the fifth grade, because they take all the same tests. So just a super thing for them. Anyhow, I get so excited because every morning I go in there and there's like kids standing in the doorway watching all my kids do this. And so I finally said, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to get the whole school going. So now I started a new program called the Walk and Talk. And essentially what they do is they can walk around the area, even down into the academic wings. Any kid that comes to school early, they go to their locker, put their stuff away, and then they start what's called the Walk and Talk. Okay, and then I'm slowly adding options to that, like some can play basketball, some, I've got even the bottle flip, for those of you who haven't seen it. We made that an option, and so I've got that kind of going. We just started a couple of weeks ago. Asked the kids about it. They seem to really love it. It seems calmer in the mornings. I've had that comment from many teachers. So, and believe it or not, I think I've only had one complaint the whole time, which is kind of incredible. So anyhow, just some of the things that we're doing with the grants and stuff, and we're getting so excited, but I just wanted to end with this picture, and you have this also in your packet. This here kind of tells the whole story. This is a picture of a brain over here on this side, and he's taking a test, or she is, and it's the test, the same test that this person is taking over here on this side, but this person has walked 20 minutes before they took the test. And I mean, that to me is proof positive what physical activity can do for our kids. And as you can tell, I'm a little passionate about it, but I just wanted to thank you again for the grant, because that's kind of what really sparked me to get excited about this. So thanks, guys.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Derek, do you want to talk a little bit about the roller skating program you started a few years ago too?
Sure. Well, we're doing a roller skating program, and we'd rent skates, and the kids would have to pay $8 every year. Mr. Brown found out that we weren't supposed to be having a required unit, so what we did is we had to, and I said, man, that's the kids' favorite unit. I said, it's really hard to lose that. So what I did is I I got a grant from you guys also to get roller skates. That was, has it been 2 years now, 3 years? Anyhow, it's a super thing. The kids love it. We got all the skates, all the helmets and everything. We pull it out, and the kids get to do it without paying any money. So now other teachers are using them as rewards. We ship them up to the high school. And the thing of it is I can't even remember what the skates cost. It was a big amount, but the kids were paying, just in our school, somewhere between $4,000 and $6,000 a year in rental fees. So it's already well paid off. So that's another really exciting program that the kids are liking to do. So. And
the history of that is actually Mrs. Green was the one that brought it to my attention when she found out that her daughter was being charged for a required unit, and that's you can't do that in Minnesota. That's called against the law. But so we.
It took me 6 kids to figure it out.
Yeah. But you also use them. I understand that CER can also rent those skates for birthday parties and different events like that.
Yep, they rent them out for, like, they'll rent out the gym and the skating for a birthday party, or they'll have they have events. Like, actually, a big event that we have is New Year's Eve, because it's cold outside. I think we get over 60 people at least every year there, and I think it costs $5 a person to skate, so cheap entertainment.
Well, Mr. Spear, I want to personally thank you for going out of your way and doing these grants, because we do have the Gifted and Talented program. We put money aside every year. Mrs. Green and I sit on that committee, and you already know that many times at the end of the year, no one else has asked for those monies. Yeah. And so you always sneak into the office and do the last grab. And no, you do it very well. But just a reminder to all the faculty, you know, I really do appreciate the fact that you go out of your way to look for creative ways to serve your kids, and you go out of your way to try to find additional resources. And there's no question it's paying off. I mean, it's paying off academically and athletically, and it's fun to come in school in the morning, because in the past, especially during the wintertime, there'd be hundreds of students just sitting there in the hallway waiting for the faculty to open up their rooms, and now there's hundreds of kids. They're like little amoebas walking around. It's just great. It's great. Yeah.
It's commendable. Thank you.
Derek, a quick question. I haven't jumped into the book yet, but I'm anxious to. As far as the impact on academics, is there a time of day that is optimal for physical activity?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to do it once, what they say is they should do it in the morning before they even start learning. But if you're going to do it like a Naperville, what they do is they do their once-a-day PE, and they actually have what they call brain breaks, which is another thing that I've kind of I've got some teachers doing it, and it's pretty exciting. But the brain breaks are where they just take 5 minutes, like before they're going to do a test, and they'll get up and do, there's all sorts of things. If you go on and look up brain breaks on the internet, there's tons of them. I have a book actually from Naperville that lists a whole bunch of little ones. They're just little activities that get them moving, get the blood flowing a little bit before they take a test. So that's the most effective.
Well, the school board is looking for ways to energize education, and so I welcome all that you're doing.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, superintendent's report.
Thanks, Rufus. I just have a couple of things. First of all, in your board packet, you have a copy of the student count. And I just want to point out, if you want to write the word soft on this sheet, because today is the first day of the second semester, and I know there are still students coming and going into the high school, and there are students that are coming and going in the elementary. And so the records are going fast and furious, but it looks like we're still serving 1,681 students. I think we're actually serving more, but the record keeping is not caught up with the grid yet. But we'll have better figures in 2 weeks. And then the school board calendar, the pink sheet that you have, just to highlight a couple of things. First of all, following tonight's school board meeting, we're going to have a work session of the school board. We're going to go back to the high school tonight, and we'll be in the conference room on the right-hand side there, and the high school faculty just want to brief us a little bit on their attendance at the principals conference that they just attended Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and the high school is looking at various alternative scheduling modules, and so they'd like to brief the board on different ideas, and that they're just kicking around. Just to look ahead to, on Wednesday, February 1, the school board will be meeting with staff in grades 3 through 6. That will be held in the William Budd Room at 3:15 in the afternoon. The policy committee has been rescheduled for Thursday, February 16th at 4:30, and we have a packet of, I think, 10 more policies to look at for the review. And then, Rufus, I did track down too that talked to the counselors today. We are planning on testing all the 10th graders with the pre-ACT test on Wednesday, April the 19th. And on that same day, we'll be testing all of the 11th graders with the ACT. And the pre-ACT test for 10th graders and the ACT test for 11th graders are being offered to all of our high school students at no charge. And so this is just a great service. In the last few years, the state has paid for the 11th grade, but the board decided to go ahead and pay for the 10th grade tests also, because that's really crucial for the 10th graders in April to take this test, because it is a predictor on how well they'll do on not only the ACT, but also it correlates to the SAT. And so that day will be a heavy test day at the high school. We're looking at testing also in the 7th and 8th graders. We'll be testing the Minnesota Comprehensive Assessments, the MCA test that same day. So think of April 19th as a good day to test kids.
So that's the same day for both?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. 10th graders are tested, and the 11th graders are both tested on the same day, pre-ACT and ACT.
You know, point of information, I think students often, you know, discuss the idea of whether or not they should study for the ACT or whether or not you can study for the ACT. The SAT was recently revamped, and currently the SAT is very comparable to the ACT. Khan Academy has a very good SAT review structure that gives you practice tests, gives you review of some fundamentals. And because the current SAT and the ACT are so comparable, it would be a good opportunity to prepare for either test. And either, you know, for either the ACT or the SAT, as well as the pre-ACT. The ACT also, the College Board also offers a structured review program for the ACT, specifically for the ACT, but that costs about $40 for, I think, for a year subscription. However, as I say, the Khan Academy program is free of charge, and it covers a lot of the same material. So I just wanted to make sure that students are aware of these opportunities.
In the Khan Academy, for those of you at home, it's spelled K-H-A-N. K-H-A-N. Khan Academy. If you just Google KhanAcademy.com, you'll go right to the website, and as Rufus said, it is free. Excellent. Okay.
Okay, financial business. Julie?
Yes, in your packet, you should have received a copy of the December 2016 Treasurer's Report. Nothing really to bring to your attention there, but that's just our total amount of our funds. And then on the flip side of that is the expenditure report of December 2016. At the top of the page, it's divided into the adopted budget, the monthly expenditures, and our year-to-date expenditures. And then at the last column then is the percentage of budget spent. And so you'll see we're up, you know, at the end of the year per calendar, but then, you know, because we run on a different, you know, format than the regular calendar as such, we're about, you know, half where we're at with some of these bills are about halfway through the year with that. So it's just a good way to kind of keep track of where we're at with our budget and what we've spent. So, and then you should also have in your packet the check register for January 24th. There are a few bills just wanted to bring your attention to this week. Check number 59364 to Apple Incorporated, and here is some of the Hunt Fund money. I'm not sure it was Hunt Fund or if it was you know, which group it came out of, the PI grant. You're right, and so I'm not sure which it is, but there's some iPads that were bought, iPad Airs, and that was for 2 of the classrooms. And then check number 59373, the Fairmont dance team, that's scholarship money. And let's see, I got notes here for that. I just want to tell you a little bit about that. These are some scholarships that are provided to the youth through a youth activity scholarship fund under the CER, and these grants are also from the Pie Hunt monies, and then also from Martin County Youth Foundation funds, and then they also take donations to provide these scholarships for students. Check number 59384, just for kicks. That is for dance team uniforms. You know, remember we had kind of formed it's kind of our starter year for the dance team, and that's the funds to purchase about 22 uniforms for our students to use for the competition. Check number 59391. Conference, it's made out to MCSS. What that stands for is Minnesota Council for Social Studies, and we had 5 staff that attended that, or will be attending that, February 26th and 27th. That will be in Mankato. Staff that will be attending is Claire Theobald, Jeff Nauman, Josh Smith, Teresa Keel, and Ashley Kaplan.
Julie, what's the date of that conference again?
February 26th and 27th.
And that's in Mankato, huh?
It's in Mankato.
Great.
Let me see if there's anything else. That's really about all I have, unless you had some questions or anything on any of these 2 reports.
Any questions? Okay, so we need a motion.
I'll make that motion then to approve the December 2016 Treasurers Report, wire transfers for December 9th, 2016 to January 18th, and the payment of the January 24th, 2017 bills.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. There is currently no old business, so we'll move on to new business. Dal, some information about the grant.
Yeah, just a little background. I hope you all got the email that was sent out today, or sent out by Joe. This is the end result of a collaborative effort between the Sheriff's Department, the City of Fairmont, the school board, and the police department, everybody working together. And the grant is going to be used, if approved, to purchase amplifiers in the elementary school. Currently, the emergency radios that we use, the ambulance uses, that the fire department uses, don't communicate well inside that building after the remodel. So it's, in essence, the equipment is like $38,403.02, but what we're asking for is approval by the board here tonight that it's a matching funds grant. So the state gives, the county will give, the city will give, and our commitment component or part is like $9,600. So that's kind of the background for this motion, and I would move that we approve the committal of $9,600 for improved radio communication in the Fairmont Elementary School if the collaborative effort of the grant from the city and county district is approved by the state, and we have tentative approval.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Question.
Okay, question?
I have a question, Dell. I noticed that the motion is for the elementary only. This is not for the high school at this point?
At this point, it is not.
Okay.
And the issues aren't as significant at the high school.
Right. And that's an important point to point out, because if you remember, I think it was 2 years ago when, during the last sheriff's campaign, that was kind of a hot issue.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we uncovered. And so when we talk about amplifiers, just for the community's purposes, we're talking about a way to boost the radio signals of the police department or fire department if they show up for an emergency.
Correct, and we do have to go to the middle school, and you know, the ambulance and the fire department, we all work on the same radio system. So we're very thankful that the issue and a problem has been addressed, and the sheriff's been great. They wrote the grant, and we do have the tentative approval, but the state has to know that everybody is truly in, so that's why we want the motion tonight. So it was a great effort. The city, the school, and law enforcement have really come together to try to solve a problem that's kind of a safety issue for our kids.
It is. Well, I really want to thank Sheriff Marquardt for his work on this. And when I was out of town on Friday, Mike Humple, the city administrator, called me on the phone and told me about this. So I apologize for the board usually we would run this through the operations committee, but because of the quickness of this grant that came up, it was something we were asking the board to approve tonight. So we thank everybody.
And for any folks that might not be familiar with the background around that, that never used to be a problem as far as the radio signals went. But when the Armor system came in, the new radio system, it operated, it's on different frequencies, and it operates from a different, Dell, I believe, a different tower than it used to.
Yeah, the whole thing operates differently. Right. It functions very different. So
that was an unanticipated problem as far as not being able to get that proper signal in all places of the building. So I really appreciate the effort of everyone to work together on that, and I'm looking forward to future collaborations with all the different entities, so we can also get ourselves a school resource officer back up and going again here soon.
Good. Any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, personnel. We have a medical leave request, and we have received a request for medical leave from Dan Engelman beginning February 6, 2017, extending through April 28, 2017. I'd make a motion to approve the medical leave request for Dan Engelman effective February 6, 2017, extending through April 28, 2017 per medical recommendation.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And employment, Dell.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the employment of Charlotte Harris Hofstrom as a non-licensed community expert to serve as our ELL instructor effective January 24th, 2017 at a salary of BA Step 1.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Well, actually, Joe, could you give us some back? Was that the we talked about that, I believe, at the meeting right before Christmas? I believe, is that the person you
Different
were referring
one.
to?
That was
It's a different person. Good
Okay.
question, Dan. But the person that Mary Grandheim found out in Marshall, we emailed her an application and a copy of the master agreement, and she actually filled it out and returned it to us. The day that we received it, her principal at Marshall, where this young lady was student teaching, went in and offered her a contract, and she signed it. So we lost her by a day. But this person here is an individual who's actually interviewed at the high school with by Melinda Stewart and Mrs. Niss, the principal. And this woman is living in Mankato at the time, but they're going to be relocating to Fairmont. And she's finishing up her master's degree as an ELL instructor. She'll have that completely done by summer of this year. And so she'll be starting, in fact, if approved, I think she started today at the high school. And so this will be very helpful. And we'll use her initially with many of our new to country students that really need more time throughout the day to be successful. And if available, we could probably use her a little bit more at the elementary too, because we have a growing number of elementary students, especially in the kindergarten first and second grade level, that would need additional English services. So we're very pleased to have the opportunity to hire Charlotte this evening, and she's really needed for our kids.
Is this affecting the schedules or changing the schedules of our ELL students so they spend more time with her?
It will. They will be tweaking the student schedule so that they'll have more one-on-one time. I say one-on-one. The new to country students, which we only have about 8 or 10 total, but they'll be spending more time throughout the day with her. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I would also like to make a motion to approve the employment of Terry Duffy as a long-term substitute custodian beginning February 6, 2017 through April 28, 2017, or upon return of the regular employee at a step 1 and the salary.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to board committee reports. So we have no CER. Staff welfare.
We did meet on January 16th, and we had just like 4 items, one of which was the hiring of the ELL teacher, and we discussed how we missed out on one there in Marshall, and then we just now took that action. We did indeed speak about the SRO, or the school resource officer, in that position. And we also talked about the Southern Plains employees maybe transferring to the Fairmont area schools. There's other discussion that'll be going on about that. And then we talked also about the meeting that's yet to come this evening, the meeting after the meeting with a work session meeting. Pretty short meeting that night as well.
Any questions? Okay, policy did not meet. Southern Plains, Julie?
Yes, we met last night at the Southern Plains office. Kind of the regular time of the year, we did election of officers. Let's see, did some hiring. We did hire Kate Hawkins as a long-term sub to cover for maternity leave. Had a resignation. Approved a lane change. Also a work agreement. We had the accounting technician went from full-time to part-time. Also did the resolution to reduce programs and staff, which is kind of just a natural thing that we do annually for all, for what we will be doing here shortly too as well, but just to kind of protect ourselves should we need to, because of budget, not knowing where the budget's going to be, to reduce our staff if we should need to. Or reviewed the revised 2016-17 budget, and that was about it. And then the other thing I wanted to bring to your attention, you all should have received in your packets, Southern Plains Educational Co-op inviting all district board members. So that would include not just myself, because I am on the board, but all members of our board to come to this meeting. It would be on Wednesday, February 22nd, starting at 5:30 till 7 p.m. That'll be held at the Southern Plains office, or the school in Winnebago. And that is 132 First Avenue Southeast in Winnebago. And this is just to kind of learn about Southern Plains, the services that we provide. Also, it is kind of a reaching out, understanding, kind of finding out what we're feeling, because of the building in Huntley, or in Winnebago, that we use is in need of some repairs and that, and kind of see where we, as a board, get some different ideas of how we can handle maybe some of the repairs that need to be done, or what anybody has any ideas about at all. So anyway, that's it.
Okay, thank you. If there are no other issues to discuss, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to adjourn the school board meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Has there ever been someone to oppose that?
5:36.
Now somebody will just have to do it.
Yeah, well, see,
Talk to me. Okay.
to the high school we go.